previously recorded. Hey everybody, the stock market is closed today, and today we present a special Best of Money Chat Now with Larry Steinhouse. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show because it's time for the Best of Money Chat Now with your host, Larry Steinhouse.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Just a reminder, if you're watching online, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. And of course, you can comment live during the show on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. There you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading. So go to investorschooling.com and sign up, and you'll even get to meet me. How cool is that? I got to tell you this. I read an article yesterday, and I just can't believe that Nancy Pelosi is just about admitting she's a crook. For the past few weeks, I've been saying wait for Moderna's stock to go below 250, and then, of course, a news article will come out about COVID. Maybe it's a new variant, or maybe it's spreading more, or whatever. And basically, I said this because it was obvious someone was upset that the stock was going down, and the best way to make the stock go up is to make more people think they need the useless vaccine. Anyway, that's my opinion of the vaccine. Now, add that to the lawmakers in Washington and the fact that they're controlling vaccine mandates, and of course, we get a people who can actually manipulate stocks and stock prices by just making a policy that affects certain stock prices. How about this one? How about Tesla, for example, right? The government gave them tax credits while pushing all vehicles to electric. I wonder what's going on. Well, Nancy the Witch Pelosi has made it very clear the witch actually scoffed. I love the word scoffed, right? She's, especially coming from Nancy Pelosi, she scoffed at the idea of Congress being banned from owning certain stocks, even if it's a conflict of interest. She literally had the nerve to say, we are a free market economy and that the Congress should be allowed to participate. Hey, witch, can you at least let the rest of the world know when you're about to make a policy that will cause XYZ stock to go up or down? Oh. Now wait till you hear this. There's actually something called the Stock Act, which requires Congress and other government workers to disclose their stock holdings and anticipated purchases to the government. Now, I don't know what part of the government they have to disclose it, or actually who gets to see this information, but let's assume that it is up, and in other words, there really is somebody we're reporting to, and it really is an important person that they're reporting to, which I'm sure it's not. But let's assume for a minute that it is, right? This, by the way, this law became 2012, and it's supposed to prevent lawmakers and staffers from engaging in trading on information they obtain from their jobs, or whether it's a conflict of interest, right? Sounds great, right? So this law says, hey, you have to report your stocks, blah, blah, blah. But check this out. You ready for this? The punishment for failing to report if you actually get caught, or if anyone actually decides to press charges on the violation of the act. So in other words, if anyone actually listens and says, hey, you own Moderna stock, you shouldn't be saying that everyone should be vaccinated. But check it out. If they violate the act and don't tell everybody that they are investing in Moderna stock while making a mandate, their fine is going to be a whopping $200 maximum fine. Wow. Don't you feel sorry right now for Martha Stewart? She spent 4 months in jail for insider trading, but our Congress gets a maximum fine of $200. Sometimes I really hate doing research for this show. I just keep opening up new rabbit holes, and I can't believe what I find. On the other hand, Pelosi and her goon squad actually banned, check this out, they actually banned the Federal Reserve members from trading stocks when it's a conflict of interest. So basically, the politicians are the only one with the right to steal. Yeah, no one else is allowed. We can steal, but you're not allowed. I don't care. I think I'm going to run for office. I seriously think I'm going to run for office. I want all the insider trading stock tips I can get without a penalty. What do you think? Should I go for state representative or maybe Congress? Hey, here's another thing. Would you guys vote for me? Hey, let me know if you're going to vote for me if I run, because I'd love to know. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start. Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
If you're cool and you go to Investor Schooling for your financial wits, let's become the rich. Put on a crazy jacket or a wild blouse, trying hard to look like Larry Steinhouse. If your goal is to find every single loophole like that Nancy Pelosi witch, AOC can tax the rich. Run your money through whole life insurance to create some financial endurance. Don't be dumb, make sure that you come to our Investor Schooling Blitz. Let's become the rich. Become the rich. Become the rich.
Hey, I want to welcome you back to Money Chat Now, and I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio on Philadelphia. And of course, if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money. Of course, hit that like button and let me know that you're enjoying the show. And of course, you can leave comments on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I will try to respond to them. Well, let's talk about my absolute favorite non-president, or is he, whatever he is. Let's talk about Gestapo Joe. Just when we thought this country had a chance of being a country that followed the great words of the founders in the Constitution of the United States, our fascist dictator Gestapo Joe wins the battle to have the Nazis, OSHA, to forcefully police an illegal vaccine mandate on employees and employers of companies with more than 100 employees. For those who want to continue in this one great country, you will need to learn the following phrases. So if you want to continue in the country, learn these phrases. Repeat after me. Jawohl, Herr Kommandant. One more time. Jawohl, Herr Kommandant. The second phrase will be Heil Biden, which can be substituted with the real leader, Heil Fauci, or sometimes Heil Pelosi. Either way, you will need these phrases in order to survive in the future. But don't worry, you don't have to say them perfectly. After all, you'll be muffled through your mandated mask anyway, so anything close will probably work. You know, like when people say, "Let's go Brandon" through a mask, it sounds a lot like the meaning of, well, you know. Just in case you don't know about this, the Sixth Circuit Court actually stated that it's a danger to employees and the general public for people in companies with over 100 people employed to not be vaccinated. This was a switch from a few weeks ago when Gestapo Joe's mandate was paused as it was deemed unconstitutional, and voila, enter Omicron. You know, the variant that used to be called a cold before Dr. Dr. Fauci, called it something else. As a country, we used to make fun of other countries who had leadership like what we have now, and in what used to be the greatest country in the world. Now it's become the rat hole that we used to compare ourselves to in order to prove we were the best country in the world. On another note, I said last week that Dr. Frodsky kept the definition of fully vaccinated as 2 shots, but tomorrow, Gestapo Joe has promised a big announcement on COVID. My prediction is the announcement will be twofold. One, he will gloat about the unconstitutional win for fascism, and the second, it will be the new definition of fully vaccinated. It will be, guess what? 3 shots minimum. Well, your vote there, Commandant. Heil Biden. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it real now. So let's talk about Moderna stock. All right, thank goodness for Omicron variant. It's a perfect chance for all the politicians to again cash in on a Moderna stock. As I've been saying, every time his Moderna stock goes to about 250, expect more COVID bulldinky. And we experienced that last week. The Dow right now is down about 363 points, but Moderna stock is up about 22 points. As they announced, check this out, they announced that their booster works against Omicron, unless, of course, you are Elizabeth Warren or Cory Booker. Really? I got to go on this tangent for a minute. All right. So first of all, let's think about this, right? Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker both tested positive for coronavirus. Anyway, the media is calling them, breakthrough cases? Seriously? Breakthrough cases? Has anyone else but me noticed that Omicron is spreading through the vaccinated? So, anyway, all the reports started with the same paragraph. So every single report started with the same paragraph. Hey, they got Omicron, but they were fully vaccinated. But the Omicron variant caused them to get COVID anyway. So they got Omicron, they were vaccinated, but they got COVID anyway. By the way, think about this. If either Elizabeth Warren or Cory Booker dies, the Democrats will have full fear control once again. So, I'm serious. I wonder which one of them that Soros or Pelosi is going to sacrifice. My odds are Elizabeth Warren. She'll be more popular. So her sacrifice will definitely launch the Democrats. Let's talk about the scary Omicron variant, because the news wouldn't be the news unless we talked about COVID. Oh my goodness. All right, The Who. You know, The Who. No, not the rock band. The Who. The guys with the rocks in their heads. You know, the World Health Organization. Anyway, The Who, I won't start that again. And anyway, they said yesterday that the Omicron variant is the fastest spreading variant of all the variants of the dreaded COVID scamdemic. Oh my, run for the hills. You might get the Omicron sniffles or maybe a cough, you know, what used to be called the common cold. Anyway, The Who Director General said during a COVID update in Geneva, Omicron is spreading at the rate we have not seen with any previous variant. By the way, Director General? Seriously? Doesn't this title alone scare you? Ja, vote, Herr Director General. Tell us more. He continued, 77 countries have now reported cases of Omicron. And the reality is that Omicron is probably in most countries, even if it hasn't been detected yet. No, shh. You know, that word I can't say on the radio. I just can't believe, honestly, that the entire planet is still falling for this BS. Oh wait, I forgot Florida. That's what's left of the United States, and they stopped falling for it for over a year now. And Texas too, of course. But the rest of the world continues with this idiocy. Guess what else our Director General said? It's not vaccines instead of masks. It's not vaccines instead of distancing. It's not vaccines instead of ventilation or hand hygiene. Do it all. Do it consistently. Do it well, he said. I wonder if he washed his hands before his speech, and I wonder if he had to mumble this through a mask to make his presentation. Anyway, in the article, it just continued what we heard 2 years ago. In summary, that is, hey, we can't stop the virus, but we can slow it down to prevent overwhelming the hospitals and the healthcare system. Huh. Hey, that sounds something like, hey, remember? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Where have I heard that before? By the way, our Director General had the nerve to say this next. Health systems are weaker now than they were a year ago in reality. Of course they are. You fired all the healthcare workers who didn't want to expose themselves to the possible dangers of the vaccine, so the hospitals are short-staffed. Anyway, Herr Director continued with this. And he said that 41 countries have not yet reached 10% vaccination of their population, and 98 countries have not reached 40% of vaccination of their population. Then why is it that the countries who have reached higher vaccine status are the ones reporting cases and deaths, when the countries with low vaccine rates aren't reporting them? Could it be a sign of something unthinkable, like vaccines don't work? Nah, it couldn't be that. Even though every early report of Omicron was reported with people who were vaccinated. Oh, by the way, have you noticed that they stopped saying that? They actually stopped saying that this guy had the vaccine when he got Omicron. Yes, they stopped saying it whether or not the patient was vaccinated, and they stopped saying that the patient had, quote, mild symptoms. Oh, man. I gotta tell you, I'm turning into a conspiracy theorist at this time. Just call me Stein-Annen. Anyway, the push is seriously to make Moderna stock rise. I mean, look, I said it a few days ago. Dr. Frodsky will change his mind shortly and tell you that you must have the booster to be fully immunized after he announced a few days ago that 2 shots is considered fully immunized. Oh, the ridiculous fear just continues. I would say let's go Brandon here, but Gestapo Joe is seriously just a cog in the wheel of this madness. And a final note with this topic, if Omicron is really spreading faster, duh, that means that we'll have herd immunity faster, and maybe the world will come out of its COVID coma. Unbelievable. It just amazes me. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from 2 Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or you can call 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia. And of course, if you're watching online, please hit the share button and let everybody know that you're watching this show so they could actually learn from it and learn how to make more money. Don't forget to hit that like button and let me know you're enjoying the show. And you can also leave comments on Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I'll try to respond to them. The market kind of is affected by the COVIDiots who are still afraid of the Omicron variant, and that's pretty much where we're standing with the market right now. But once again, a reminder for the anagram of Omicron is moronic. So as the moronic variant scares the COVIDiots, the stock market worries a bit, and that's basically what we're seeing a little bit this week. But the announcement of the wholesale price index rising 9.6% is the big fear that's causing the Fed, or will cause the Fed, to raise interest rates sooner than expected. Look, Wall Street continues to baffle me. Of course they're going to raise interest rates. I've been saying this for 6 years now. Interest rates should have been raised during Obama years. And then again, they should have been raised during the Trump years. The Fed is clueless and they keep pushing the can down the road. It's kind of silly. Now here we are, and instead of raising interest rates slowly so it could have been absorbed naturally into the economy at a nice pace, the Fed will be forced to raise interest rates quickly. Let's get going. All right. Omicron. Ooh, oh my goodness. The scary Omicron virus is now the dominant strain of what used to be called a cold. That's right. 75% of all COVID tests identified Omicron as the strain diagnosed. According to the CDC, check this out. According to the CDC, 25% of the cases are Delta. Now, wait a minute. I'm confused here. If 75% of the cases identified are Omicron and 25 are Delta, does that mean that before Omicron, 100% of all the cases were Delta? So if this is correct, Omicron will obviously be at 100% shortly. If you add this to the fact that there is only one reported death and everyone is saying this is like a bad cold, does that mean that the scamdemic is finally over? Actually, I think it was over 2 weeks ago after we flattened the curve, but, whatever. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. So this is from the article. I use this source from the report. Ready? About 69,000 Americans are hospitalized with COVID-19, according to the 7-day average of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services data as of Thursday. A 2-week increase of 14%. Though rising, that is still lower than when the Delta wave's high point was more than 100,000 when they were hospitalized in early September. And that's the end of the article. So wait a minute, where are the deaths? Is anyone actually dying from this virus anymore? Or is it just the continued scare cat tactics? Well, I guess it's clearly the continued scare tactics. That's obviously what's going on. Unbelievable what's going on in this world, and we're letting it happen. Let's talk about Biden threatening the unvaccinated. Hey, the Supreme Leader, President Poopy Pants, spoke to his peasants yesterday as he dictated that only the vaccinated are allowed to enjoy their holidays this year. He went on to say, but many of the vaccinated will get, and I quote, breakthrough infections. But of course, if you're vaccinated, you probably won't die. Cut me a break, you lying piece of what you did in your pants when you visited a poop, when you visited the Pope, not the poop. That's pretty funny. I hope Sam Spicer from WWDB was okay with how I crafted that replacement for the 4-letter word that I'm not allowed to say. Anyway, the Supreme Leader raised his voice and said, all these people, yes, he said, all these people, he actually said it twice, who have not been vaccinated, have an obligation to yourselves, your family, and quite frankly, I know I'm going to get criticized for this, your country. Get vaccinated, it's free, he said. Hey, Gestapo Joe, here's the criticism about what you said. You wouldn't know what an American is. You've been preaching communism and socialism for so long that you forgot we Americans fought several wars to protect ourselves from people like you. The Supreme Leader went out to talk about testing kits because he claims there aren't enough. Of course there aren't enough. You and Dr. Frotsky announced last week that if you sneeze or cough, you should get a COVID test. Nothing like making sure COVID testing company that you and your evil minions invested in makes lots of profits. Also in his speech, or should I say lecture, he warned us that he is deploying the military to support hospitals. Wow. And then, of course, he guilted all the purebloods. By the way, that's what the unvaxxed call themselves nowadays. They call themselves the purebloods. That's interesting. Anyway, he guilted all the purebloods by telling them that they may be taking a hospital bed away from someone with a heart attack, cancer, or other serious illness that may need it. Or, of course, if you live in New York City or Philadelphia, you may be taking away a hospital bed from someone who was shot because of the lawlessness in those cities. Anyway, he finishes his speech, and lecture with this. He says, the unvaccinated are responsible for their own choices, he said, but those choices have been fueled by dangerous misinformation on cable TV and social media. It's wrong, it's immoral, and I call on the purveyors of those lies and misinformation to stop it. Stop it now, he said. Well, here's what I have to say about that statement, Herr Biden. If you would stop censoring the data, stop controlling the media, and stop ordering us around, maybe, just maybe, people can read or view the information that will help them make an informed decision. So here's my message to you, Air Biden. I call on you and your satanic worshiping minion to stop spreading lies and misinformation. Stop censoring the truth. Stop it now. Says me, Larry Steinhouse. Hey, can I drop a mic if it's a lapel? Well, I guess it's kind of not really the same thing, so let's go to the next topic. All right, let's talk a little bit about Uber. By the way, here's more proof that the world is ignoring the moronic scamdemic as more and more people are going out and enjoying life again. Uber, the rideshare company, just reported their best week of gross bookings in history. And by the way, just a clarification, gross booking typically refers to the company's combined bookings for both its ride-sharing and its delivery business. However, the CEO of Uber, Dara Khosrowshahi, I think, says that the ride-sharing part of the business is recovering nicely and getting close to pre-scamdemic levels. That's great. Uber reported 1.6 billion trips on the platform during the quarter, and that's up 9% from the past quarter. And check it out, up 39% year over year. Wahoo! Yeah! Finally, right? All right, good for Uber. By the way, Uber's a great stock to own, and I got to tell you, buy this stock, put it in a drawer, and open up the drawer 10 years from now. Uber and Lyft are positioning themselves to own the transportation as a service business as cars become autonomous. It's going to be awesome. The future of cars is inevitable, and I'm going to tell you, between Tesla, Apple, Hertz, Uber, and Lyft, these guys see a clear future.
Investor schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor schooling? Never heard of.
Investor schooling?
Never heard of it.
Investor schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Hey, for you guys who don't know, I have a book coming out. It's called Money Hacks, and it's with the subtitle, Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong. And I'm going to tell you, this is a good book. It's got some really good stuff in there. I talk a lot about the stuff that we talk about at Investor Schooling, and you could pre-order it at barnesandnoble.com, and you can get your copy probably in June. Hey, I want to thank all you listeners on WWDB Radio. We look forward to your continued support. My name is Larry Steinhouse, and you are watching Money Chat Now. And of course, if you're watching online, if you're live on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube, I want to thank you for your continued support as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. As you know, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in the show. And have a profitable day, guys.